Let's take a look at the WNBA standings. While the Fever are locked into the 6th seed, there are still some big questions. If you like this video, please hit the like button and ring the bell to subscribe. It will signal YouTube to offer it to other Fever fans. I'll be doing live, feverish discussions soon, and YouTube will only let you know if you subscribe. It would be great to have you in the discussion live. I'd love to get your perspective. And as always, comment. I really appreciate it. Surprisingly, with 2 games left in the season for New York and Minnesota, and New York with a 2-game lead, New York still doesn't have it locked up because Minnesota wins the head-to-head battle. New York has 2 easy games and just have to win 1. Or if Minnesota loses 1, for example, on the road in Connecticut later today, New York gets number 1. And if Connecticut does take down Minnesota tonight, they'll have a head-to-head advantage and will only need to win 1 and have Minnesota lose on Thursday to take away the 2nd seed. And Vegas has swept Connecticut. So if they win out and Connecticut loses both, Vegas can take the 3rd seed away. So amazingly, with the Fever at 6th seed, they can still play one of 3 teams, most likely Connecticut, but potentially Minnesota or Vegas. I wouldn't mind another shot at Vegas. But whichever team it ends up being, it is 2 road games for the Fever. But let's face it, they'll have their share of fans. So they kind of own home court advantage wherever they go. And if they win one of the 2, they steal actual home court advantage since the rubber game will be played in Indiana. And if that isn't confusing enough, Seattle hosts Vegas tonight and can take over the 4th seed if they win out and Seattle loses both. This is a big game since 4th and 5th seeds play each other, but 4th seed gets real home court advantage. They'll be going all out, but I guess all the teams always go all out in the WNBA. As I said before, Indiana is locked in at 6th and Phoenix at 7th. Both will be on the road for the first 2 games of the playoffs. Washington, Chicago, and Atlanta are in a 3-way tie for the last playoff spot. But Washington plays a New York team tonight that would like to clinch the number 1 seed. So it ain't looking good for Washington. And Chicago actually plays Atlanta, so the winner of that game has a huge advantage. And of course, on Thursday, Washington runs into the Fever, Chicago, Connecticut, and Atlanta plays New York in New York. And all in the early game. Wow, the 8th seed will likely come down to the final few minutes of those 3 games all being played at the same time. But the coaches will say they aren't looking at the scoreboard. Listen, if they're up in the game, they will be. They will be. Forget about it. Got fever?